From the very first time that I heard,
It's football time in Tennessee.
I knew that sports would consume my life. I'm originally from Tennessee, but I grew up in Gator Country, a very hard thing to do. Despite that, my first and main love is the Tennessee Volunteers. Then, in 2023, I met a girl who worked for the Tampa Bay Lightning, and I quickly fell in love with hockey. A Tampa Bay Lightning fan through and through. That same girl introduced me to women's basketball, and my life has never been the same. I even met Candace Parker. Then, in 2025, I got the opportunity to work for the Orlando Valkyries, a professional volleyball team. In my first season, they won the championship. Outside of my love for sports, I'm a dog mom, a college graduate, a sister, an aunt to many boys and a few girls, and a daughter. My love for sports led me to do this podcast, and I hope you guys will enjoy the journey just as much as I'm going to. Hello and welcome to the Everything Sports Podcast with Tay. My name is Tay, and today we're joined by a very special guest, Riley Irons. Riley is the owner and main coach at Ath-Elite Basketball Training and formerly a collegiate basketball player at Bryan College. Hey Riley, how you doing today?
Hey Tay, I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on the podcast.
Yeah, of course. I'm glad to hear that, and I'm glad to have you on the podcast. I'm super excited to have you on today to discuss basketball and your journey from playing to opening your own training business.
Let's do it.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and jump right into the first question. First question I have for you today is a little bit of a lengthy question, so bear with me. And if you need me to repeat it, just let me know, okay?
Okay, sounds good.
All right. So first question is, you attended Hamilton Heights Christian Academy, where there was only roughly 100 kids enrolled, meaning the basketball teams had roughly 7 kids. Knowing you wanted to play collegiately, did you ever think about transferring to a different high school, to give yourself better opportunities, or did you feel you had the opportunities you needed at Hamilton Heights Christian Academy?
That's a good question. I mean, it did cross my mind. I mean, there was bigger schools, bigger facilities
Right.
in Chattanooga. But I mean, at the time, I think our school was starting to bring in international kids. So I think that's what Hamilton Heights is known for now. So we were getting, girls from Serbia, Brazil. So it was actually an exciting time. So at the moment when I thought, I should go to a bigger school, I kind of was like, no, I think this is where I'm going to stay. And we were starting to get looked at and stuff like that.
That's awesome. So you were kind of excited for what was coming, that you wanted to be a part of what was coming. So
yes, exactly.
Even though it was a good thing.
Yeah, because I mean, we were super small. I mean, the gym itself was the size of our school, and we had one hallway. So it was very.
Oh, wow.
I mean, you look at it from the outside, you're like, why? But it definitely was an opportunity that was coming, that was bigger than we thought. So.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, when we were talking prior to this, you said that some of the you've had some NBA and WNBA players come out of that school since
absolutely.
You guys started bringing in kids from other countries to play at your school.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we've had a lot of people, and I probably don't even know like half of them, but I know SGA is the NBA one that I talk about. And I talk to kids that I teach now, and they're like, oh my gosh, you go to Hamilton Heights. So it's an honor now looking back.
That's awesome. I'm really glad you stayed then. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So the next question that we have is, you attended Bryan College in Dayton, Tennessee on a scholarship. Was Bryan your first choice in schools to play collegiately, or did you have other schools that you were looking at first?
I was looking at Lee University in Cleveland. I have background in that school. We went to summer camps. I knew some of the coaches on staff, and of course the university is pretty. And so I wanted to go there, but they just weren't offering the best offer that I had at the time. So,
right.
But looking back, I think Bryan was the place I should be at, but Lee was definitely my first choice.
So just for those of you who don't know, and I didn't put these in the question, so I'm sorry, but for those of you who don't know how Riley and I know each other, Riley's best friend, Rachel, was my RA when I was in college at Tennessee Wesleyan, and Riley would come spend her weekends with us. Dayton wasn't too far from Athens, and so she would come spend the weekends, and even sometimes during the week, come spend time with Rachel, and the three of us got to know each other really well. And since then, we've had many times where we visit each other when we're on vacation, and we've just all become very close. But that's how Riley and I know each other, is while she was playing ball at Bryan, she would come visit while I was in college in Athens. So.
And those were kind of a rivalry game as well. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was exciting. So,
I never did get to make it to one of those, but I heard that they were
oh,
pretty interesting.
yeah, the crowd was into it. It was
Yeah.
crazy. It was a good time.
Two at the time, two very small colleges that both, were competitive. So
Very
yeah,
competitive.
definitely.
Yes, 100%.
Yep. So then after college, you moved to Clarksville, Tennessee, and in 2019
Mhm.
you started coaching for a church program called Upward Basketball. When did you know you wanted to get into coaching?
Well, that was kind of the foot in the door opportunity. And once I started coaching there, I was like, this is where I want to be, because I just love the aspect of just teaching kids how to push them to their full potential. And yeah, there are some struggles as coaching too, but I think that definitely was an awakening in my life to go, okay, this is the path I wanted to pursue.
This is not a question that's on the list that we pre-talked about, but have you thought about coaching at like a high school or anything like that? Have you
Yeah,
done any of
and
that?
well, I have not. I have declined, but I've had numerous parents beg me to go and coach for their schools. The only thing that holds me back from that aspect is the time. It is time consuming,
Yeah.
and my vision was to do basketball training. I like the aspect of just personal relationships more so than coaching a team. I think it is a good idea, but I've always shied away from it as hard as it could be. But
Yeah. I think that maybe, I mean, you're still getting athlete basketball training, and correct me if I'm saying that incorrectly, but
no, no, athlete. Yeah, you're
okay,
right.
perfect. Just making sure.
Hmm.
But you're still kind of getting that off the ground, and I don't mean like necessarily getting it off the ground, because you do have a pretty well established clientele, from what I understand, and you do have pretty
Yes.
well established like training camps and everything that you do, but you're
Hmm.
doing it mostly yourself. Like you
Yeah.
have other coaches that come in and volunteer to help, but you're doing most of it yourself. So then
Most of
adding
it.
a high school coaching
Yeah.
position at this time probably is not the best, but I could
Yeah.
definitely see you, knowing you as a person and knowing who you are and how you like to help the younger generation.
Yeah.
I could definitely see you being a high school coach down the road once athlete takes off a little bit more and maybe you have a
Yes.
little bit more help in there.
Oh, 100%. I definitely see that in the future for
Yeah, I
sure.
definitely could see that happening. And I've gotten to know you pretty well, I think, and you are very much a I want to help the next generation kind of person. You and Rachel both, and so I just
Yeah.
shout out to
That
Rachel
is so
because
true.
she's an awesome
Yeah.
teacher and we love her for that.
She Oh,
Um,
for sure.
but you have also kind of taken on that I want to help the next generation, and I think being a high school coach would be a really cool, fun thing to do. But I think
Oh,
that
100%.
where you're at right now with athlete, and while it's still kind of not, like I said, not necessarily taking off, but taking off is really the best way to describe it.
You're right on that.
Yeah,
And I
I
think
think
it's
that
just
it's
not
just
the
not the right
season.
time.
Yeah, not the season now, but definitely in the future I think that would definitely be
Yeah,
a
for sure.
consideration
So what
for
was your
sure.
favorite part about coaching within the Upward basketball program?
Well, my favorite part is that's kind of where I started my basketball career is upward basketball, fifth grade. Yes, I was a late
Okay.
bloomer, but that's kind of where my parents were like, let's try this. And then they just noticed the skill I had. So that's what was special. And my favorite part about upward was like, I
So
could see
Upward
myself in
basketball
those
is kind of
kids.
an across the state thing. Different
Yes.
people have it. It's
It-
okay. It's not just specific to Clarksville.
no, no, no.
Oh,
Chattanooga
okay,
had it.
cool.
It's just any school that wanted to pick up that program and run it, they could do
Okay.
it.
So you
So
did it when you were in fifth grade, and that was why you were like, heck yeah, I'll take
yeah,
this opportunity.
my parents knew nothing. My dad played football. My mom did hurdles, so they knew nothing. So, and then
Hey,
they
they were
tried it.
athletes, and so they wanted to get you
They
involved in something. That's the
they
point of that,
did,
you know?
and then they were like, "Oh, she's got a natural skill." So then that's where it all started. So
That's awesome. So that program led you to start your current venture, which we've talked a little bit about already, but Ath-Elite Basketball Training. Tell me about how that came to be and what exactly it is.
towards the end of the upward basketball season, I went up to the guy that ran the program and I said, "Hey, can I use the gym once it's over?" And to my surprise, he agreed. And I was like,
Wow.
awesome. So I felt that was a God opportunity for me to start. And I started making flyers, asking parents around, just trying to get my name known. And it was a slow start, but it did start. And, and then during that time, I feel like God like put it on my heart to come up with the name Ath-Elite Basketball. So the ATH stands for attainable, trainable, and honorable at an elite level. So that's kind of what
I
just
like
was
that. That's
brought
awesome.
upon me. Thank you. And so our mission statement is just running groups and private sessions to build the young athletes into elite athletes. So it's just to push them and to see Jesus as well. So
So I don't know if you watched last week's episode with Willie, but Willie Tillman is the guy that I interviewed last week, and he is the coach of a high school football team right now. And one of the
Mm,
main things that we talked about that kind of sounds like is your main objective here as well is that as a coach, you don't just want to build the athlete, you want to build the whole man or woman because you do
mm,
both genders.
yes.
You don't stick to just the
Yeah.
guys. I've seen videos of girls in your groups too killing it. But
Yes.
so we don't one of the things that he and I heavily talked about was it's not about just building the athlete, it's about building the human being. And it
Oh,
seems like you
absolutely.
kind of have that same philosophy. And I was telling him that like really any coach who's worth a dang has that philosophy under there at some point in some form because
Mm,
really like you want to set them up for the future. And I know that you are not just setting them up for good basketball skills, but you're working with them as human beings too, that you get involved and you go to their high school games and you show them this,
yes.
that there's people supporting them and loving them. And I know that you do that kind of thing. So that's
Yes.
something I talked about with Willie. And it's nice to see that it continues, to be kind of the topic
No,
each week
100%.
in and out as I talk to different coaches. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah. It's definitely deeper than just the game. And I've seen so many kids transform from just paying attention to them or giving them the support. I've had kids with anger issues come into my league, and
Yep.
then you transfer, and then they become encouraging with the same energy, just a different aspect. So
Yeah.
it's been exciting to see throughout the years. So
I bet that's a really awesome feeling too as a coach to get to know that you had a part in that changing that
yes,
transformation. So that's really
absolutely.
awesome.
Mhm.
I'm gonna skip the next question and go on to the last question, and then we'll come back to the next question.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the next question is going to be if you could play for one coach, dead or alive, who would it be and why? And I think I know the answer, but I want to hear what you have to say, anyways.
Really? Okay. Well, I think I was going to catch you off guard on this one because I did some
Okay,
thought, and I'm not a Tennessee Vols fan at all,
I know.
any sport, and you know that. But I did some thinking, and I was like, you know what, Pat Summit, I would have been honored to be under her coaching. She would have scared me. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie, but
Oh yeah.
just her wisdom and her passion, I think as a player, she would have pulled all the insecurities I had out and just made me better just from
Okay, so
watching
just
her.
for the record, I know you're not a Tennessee Falls fan. For the record, for everybody, Riley is a Georgia Bulldogs fan, and so that is a really big deal for her to come out and say that she would pick a Tennessee coach. But honestly, like, I don't know a girl in America in our generation who played basketball at any level who would not give the answer Pat
Oh,
Summit. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes, yes,
my myself, I didn't play basketball. I only played like in PE, but like if I had to pick a coach dead or alive that I played basketball for or any sport for, it would be Pat Summitt. I don't know a
oh,
girl in our
100%.
generation whose answer would be
Absolutely not.
anybody but Pat Summitt, especially like the way that Candace Parker talks about her and
Mm,
the legacy that she has. Like I feel like if there's one player who embodies what um and not just embodies but like demonstrates and shows and continues to talk about on a high level of what Pat Summitt did, it's Candace Parker. And so like I've watched a lot of her interviews and like it
yeah,
still to this day makes me want to play for Pat Summitt, like wish that she
it's
was,
so
still
inspiring.
alive because
Yes.
it's really like. And then like my dad talks about her too because like I don't remember basketball back at that time. I was really young. We
Yeah.
didn't we watched a little bit of Lady Vols basketball, but Dad watched more than I did. I wasn't as into sports as I am now, and he talks about it and talks about her coaching methods and her
Methods
philosophies
and
and
all that.
everything like that,
Yeah,
and just
it's
like her
amazing.
wisdom, like you said. And so I'm actually not caught off guard by that being your answer. That is the
Okay.
answer I expected from you. So
Okay, good.
yeah, no, I know you're a huge Georgia Bulldogs fan, but like again, there's not a girl in our generation who would
No,
not
absolutely
say
not.
like Pat Summitt, of course,
And
So
one fun fact is she was born in Clarksville, Tennessee. I don't know if you realize that or
I
not,
did
but
know that. Yep.
yeah, she has that statue. So as I was pondering on that question, I just was like, oh no, it's got to be this.
Yeah, I
So
did know that, and I learned I didn't know that until recently. I learned that when they put in the bid for the WNBA summit, and
mm,
they were talking about like we want to have a team in Nashville, but like maybe training facilities in Clarksville because that's where Pat Summit is from, and since the
yeah,
name is like part of her thing, one of the things they were talking about is like something to do with the summit would be in Clarksville because of
yeah,
like the name is honoring Pat Summit and that's her home place. So
Oh, for
yeah,
sure.
I did
Yeah.
learn that, but not until
Okay.
recently. That wasn't something that I didn't know until probably about a year ago when they made that announcement. So
Okay. Yeah, I didn't realize that till I moved up here, and I'm like, oh, that was so
yeah,
cool.
it's really
So,
cool.
yeah,
She
it's
was
awesome.
a Tennessee girl, born and bred. So
Oh, yes, she was on the
yeah.
farm and everything. So
Yeah, so no, you think I would be surprised just because of your Georgia Bulldogs connection, but like I really like, again, there's
yeah,
not a girl in our
like you said,
generation who wouldn't pick Pat
who would
Summitt.
not?
I've asked that
Exactly.
question like to a lot of people, not in this particular format, like not as the podcast, but just like in conversation when you're talking about sports,
Well said.
and the answer is always Pat Summitt. So and
Always.
you get it from Gators fans, you get it from
So
Georgia
it doesn't
Bulldogs
matter.
fans, you get it. It doesn't matter what college you root for, everybody picks Pat Summitt. So yeah,
Oh yeah,
it's
hands
no
down.
surprise there.
So okay,
But I
good.
was just curious what you had to say. You could have caught me off guard
Yep.
and said some totally other random person. So
I know, but no, I had to. It
yeah,
was just too easy. So
yeah. So the last thing I want to talk about today, what is the most valuable sports lesson you've learned and who taught it to you?
I think the most valuable sports lesson probably for me was probably just confidence in yourself and believing in yourself, because you're going to have all the skills, talent in the world, but if you do not believe in yourself, it's just, you're not going to reach your full potential or even close to it. And I speak from experience, and the person that taught me that was my dad. He
Aw.
always believed in me, always, rooted for me, didn't miss a game, took his own little stats in the stands.
No,
We
that's
had our
awesome.
talk after every game. And so as a kid, it was like exhausting, but looking back, it was like, no, this is what I needed. And
It was his
just
way of
pushed
showing
me to
that he
be.
was there and he cared,
Yes.
Like it was exhausting for you, but it was his way of being like, "Hey, I'm here and I'm doing something." My
Yeah.
dad was the same way when I played softball. Like
He was just
if he
like,
wasn't coaching the team, which he would get involved in doing, if he wasn't doing that, he was in the stands taking his own stats or yelling at the
it
refs
was,
or
yes.
whatever. So,
He
I
was too
mean,
much sometimes, but
yeah,
he
they
meant
are.
well.
But they
But
do mean well.
yeah, he'd be like, shoot the ball. You have the
Yeah,
highest
right.
percentage. And I'm like sharing the ball with everybody. I was too nice. So it kind of was funny though.
You still are, but that's okay. We love you anyways.
I know. Thank you.
So I want to kind of touch on that a little bit because there's a funny story in our friendship that we kind of joke about and
Oh, Lord.
you hate to hear about, but like
Oh,
in the
God.
same breath, like we're going to talk about Georgia, Tennessee for a minute. And it's because, you actually taught me my most valuable sports lesson.
Okay.
And my most valuable sports lesson that I learned, sports related lesson that I've learned, is that the game is not over until the game is over. I think you know where I'm going with this.
Oh, 100%.
Okay, so
100%.
Riley and I have been friends for quite a long time. I went to Tennessee Wesleyan in like 2013, so it's been
Yes.
12 years we've been friends.
Gosh, man,
I know,
time
isn't that
flies.
crazy?
That's
So
crazy.
for 12 years we've been friends, and every single year Georgia, Tennessee comes around, and
Oh,
Riley and I shit talk each other so bad. I think like
yes.
my
It's
rivalries with anybody, there's only one other person in my life that I rival with more than Riley when it comes to college football.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah. 100%.
we go at it really bad, and it always drives Rachel nuts because Rachel is the third wheel in this aspect as a Nebraska Cornhuskers fan, so
Yeah,
she
yeah.
doesn't really get
No one
to
cares about that.
yeah, so she doesn't really get to get involved, but she always picks sides, and she always picks Riley's side for the record.
Oh, for sure.
But so in 2016, the last time we beat the Georgia Bulldogs, I was sitting on my parents' bed because my parents, something was going on and there was like a party or something at the house and people were over. And so my mom's like, you can watch the game, but you have to watch it in my bedroom because that way you're not disturbing everybody. Okay. So I go and I'm sitting on the edge of the bed, and Riley and I are on the phone with each other because Riley had called to gloat with 10 seconds left on the clock. And 10 seconds left, Georgia scores a touchdown. She's like, it's over, like she calls to gloat. She's shit talking left and right. And so we're sitting there and we're watching the rest of the game. And with 4 seconds left, Tennessee throws a Hail Mary and we win the game. And all of a sudden, it's just dead silent on the other end. You had not shut up the entire time you were shit talking. And it was just dead silent.
That's
and
how
I was like, oh, crap. Like, I don't think I've ever heard Riley completely and totally silent before. And she was just dead silent.
I know, but you never let me forget that. So
I don't but it really did teach me my most valuable sports lesson in the fact that the game is genuinely not over until it's over. And Tennessee since then has had some really close games where my dad and I will be sitting on the couch and I'm like, he's like, oh, we've got this in the bag. And it's like, we're up by like maybe 1 or 2 points or whatever. And the other team has the ball. And I'm like, Dad, like you have to understand it's not over till it's over. And I will reference that moment with him, and he's like, he gets annoyed by it too, but I'm like, Dad, you have to remember, like, it's genuinely the 4 seconds left on the clock, a Hail Mary, we win the game. It's not over till it's over. Like, you can't be celebrating like this until the clock hits 0 and the refs say, okay, game is over. Because there's even been games in college football where like the clock hits 0 and the refs are like, hold on, we have a flag, like we gotta replay that play or whatever.
Go back.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, I mean, I learned a valuable lesson that day too.
I really learned a valuable lesson. And I like, even in Little League, like baseball, like I go watch my nephews play Little League baseball and they'll start celebrating when they're up and everything, and the other players are at bat, and I'm like, dude, like don't, like I'm telling you, it's a hard lesson to learn, and you don't want to have to learn it the way my friend Riley did. So,
it was tough. I was probably quiet for a while.
Yeah, I think Rachel came on the phone because you were just so speechless and like you didn't have anything to say, and so Rachel and I talked for a minute, I think is what happened.
She was, I needed a moment.
Sure. So
I was like,
that was my most valuable sports lesson.
That's funny.
And honestly, like I still use it to this day. I've taught my nephews with that lesson and like that story, because like they will do the same thing and start cheering for they're Gators fans, so like I want them to feel that heartbreak in some level, but like I don't want them to feel that heartbreak. So I'm like, hey guys, like your game's not over till the clock hits 0 and then the refs say we're done.
It's over. Yeah. 100%. So well, that's good.
It's one of my favorite stories it's one of my favorite stories in our friendship. But on the other hand, you guys have beat us every year since. So
I did
think we were gonna finally pull it out this year, but we choked per usual. So, you know, maybe next year.
Looking good for you. Maybe next year. We'll see.
We'll see. Our quarterback supposedly has another year of eligibility. I don't know how true that rumor is. I'm waiting to find that out as we continue to go through the season and things kind of work out. But he did 2 years of JUCO, and so I don't know how much you know about like Diego Pavia from Vanderbilt and the lawsuit that he did.
A little bit.
Okay, so he did a lawsuit basically, and they were like, okay, the 2 years of JUCO don't count. You get 2 years of eligibility, or if you had 1 year of JUCO, you get 1 year of eligibility. Well, supposedly Joey Aguilar did 2 years of JUCO, and so supposedly he gets 2 years of eligibility, but we don't know if that's actually true or not.
Yeah, that's true.
So if he comes back next year, I can 100% see us beating the Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, he was impressive.
He was really impressive.
He was giving us a run for our money, so I was like getting nervous. I was like, oh my gosh, this might be the day.
You and I were texting the whole time, and it was like, okay, I'm stressed. And then you're like, okay, I'm stressed now. And I'm like, okay, now I'm stressed. It literally was
back and forth.
It was.
So I was like, but yeah, sorry. It didn't happen this year, but maybe next.
It's okay. It'll happen eventually. Actually, I don't think we play you guys next year. I was just, I don't know if you saw the schedule reveal. Let me pull out my handy dandy little notebook. Hold on. Let's see.
That's crazy though.
Nope, we don't play you guys or Florida next year. So they came out with the schedule reveal for the next 4 years. And I don't know if you know, but we're going to 9 conference games. So everybody's schedule is hard. Nobody gets away with an easy schedule anymore. So you're gonna have to go do some research on that, because I was looking at some of these schedules that people have, like Mizzou, who normally gets away with a pretty easy, relaxed schedule. I was like, oh boy, they're in for a rude awakening.
This might change a little dynamic here.
Yeah, but so we play you guys like every other year, starting in 27 and then 29. They did 3 annual opponents for each SEC team. And you guys are not one of our annual opponents. Your annual opponents are... Sorry, this is my notes. My friend started this thing called Spaceballs, and we do like a little mini podcast on X every Wednesday. And so this is my notebook for that. But let's see, you have Auburn, Florida, and South Carolina every year as your annual opponents.
Okay, not terrible, but...
Well, if Lenora Sellers from South Carolina can stay healthy, it'll be an interesting matchup for you guys over the next few years, as long as he stays for another few years. The Florida matchup, I don't see being too big of a deal with the way they're playing right now.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, but...
And then I think Auburn was the other one. I don't really know. It just depends who they bring in at quarterback next year, honestly. Like, that's what's going to determine that.
That's probably true, too, yeah.
People were really upset about, like, Tennessee's 3 annual opponents. We got Alabama, Vanderbilt, and Kentucky. So people were really upset that we got Vanderbilt and Kentucky. But then somebody said, like, the exact tweet was like, for the past 30 years, we've played Georgia, Alabama, and Florida every single year, where other teams have not played those teams or have gotten away with only playing them like once every 5 years. So this is kind of a break for Tennessee when Tennessee needed a break after spending 30 years playing those 3 opponents. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
mean, that's true though. That's
so
valid.
yeah. So people were
Well,
getting really mad about it, and I was like, dude, like, we spent
just
30
let it.
years playing the hardest teams while you guys get away
Just
with
yeah,
bull crap.
a little
So
break won't kill nobody.
no.
So, well, you guys have a couple years to build, and we'll
Yeah, for
face.
sure.
I guess we'll face you at some point. So
2027. It'll be 2027, and I think it's in Georgia in 2027.
in Georgia,
So
okay,
I think so.
okay.
Maybe if I have a
Let's,
steady job by then, you and I can go to that game. Who knows?
yes, let's do it.
Yeah,
That would be interesting.
that would be a lot of fun.
That would be so fun.
We'll
Have
take
to video
Rachel to
that.
keep the peace.
She would have to sit in between.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
That's funny.
that's all I have for you today. So unless you have
Okay.
anything else, I'm gonna go
No.
ahead and say I want to do a shout out to Chris Summerall from Florida Hat Shack for my hat. He's working on some
Oh,
more hats, and if anybody's interested
that's
in
nice.
getting a podcast hat, please let me know. I can work that out with you and Chris and get that set up. I also want to say please subscribe to our YouTube and follow our Instagram or our X or both if you feel like it. But Riley, thank you for coming on today. I really enjoyed talking with you, and
Of course, it was a pleasure.
I hope that we can do this again in the future as Ath-Elite continues to take off, and maybe next time you'll be coming on as a high school basketball coach. Who knows?
You never know.
Yeah.
You never know.
So I
Well,
thank you, and I appreciate it.
Of course. Thank you.
All right.